I mean, it was it's hard to describe just putting it into words. But it was an insane amount of damage for nobody to die. I mean, you drive through some of these neighborhoods and you're like, man, how the fuck did nobody die? But
They got good basements.
I mean, basements and I mean, man, our news stations are on it. They blend in the radio, almost all the local radio stations, and I mean, they'll tell you block by block what's about to get fucked up. You know, uh, I've talked to a lot of people that just drove out of the fucking way of the tornado. I mean, that's what they did. They go, oh, the radio's headed down Lawson, and then it's going up fucking, down Chenal. And so everybody that was kind of around Chenal, they tell you what direction it's going. Get the fuck out the way.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of rain and stuff and hail, but I mean, the actual funnel cloud and all that, our news people are seeing that shit on radar for the most time. And they break it down block by block. They'll be like, if you're on Shackelford Road, you're fucked. you just need to take cover. I mean, they don't really say you're fucked, but
they might as well.
They might as well, right?
Yeah, they just say, get your howdy hole. And
when it gets to that point, what's it matter, right?
Yeah, I mean, you got to give it to a whole bunch of people. One, the school said, "Man, this looks like a fucked up tornado day. We're gonna go ahead and just call it."
Right.
Everybody go, yeah. And so I mean, before the storm even started producing funnel clouds, I mean, it was like they were like, shut the schools down. A lot of people started going home, and I mean, it was in the middle of the day, so I mean, really, it was the best possible circumstance to have that. If you had to pick a time,
see, winter when we have ice, and they'll start the day off early in the morning, sometimes the night before. It really depends, but and they'll be like, yeah, there's ice. It's probably only going to get worse. We're going to call it. But the people here, the parents, that is, are just complete a-holes, okay? So there's a shit ton of ice that nobody, I don't care if you have a four-wheel drive, that just means you're going to slide more. It's ice, not snow, ice.
Yeah.
And four-wheel drive ain't going to do shit for you. And a bunch of pussy Oregonians and Washingtonians, they can't even drive in the weather. And I'm like, nobody can drive in the weather. You, the person saying this, are an asshole that's going to get stuck on the side of the road. 9 times out of 10.
And maybe
it's
dead.
Not about
dead, right.
It's not about being pussy enough. I mean, it's simple fucking basic math.
Yeah, it's physics. It's simple physics.
Well, I mean, let's take out the fucking danger or getting stranded or anything like that. Let's just simple math on your car. Okay, you're going to go to work.
Well,
you're going to earn a certain wage. But if your car gets fucked up or somebody slides in your car in the parking lot where you are at work, your car is now damaged.
Right.
And how much is that fucking going to cost?
Right.
I bet it's more than you make in a day, motherfucker.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and then let's say that the school cancels school for that day and the storm peters out and turns out to be nothing. Then people bitch that the school is a bunch of a-holes for, canceling school on a day when they could have easily had the kids in school. Or the weather is bad and the school decides not to cancel. And then there's a clusterfuck because the buses are stuck or they can't get the kids home on time.
Children.
And then they bitch that, you should have known. You should have kept the kids home. But you cannot win with these people. It is impossible.
We're going to take the dead bodies of the children and sell them as fucking biscuits to the next state over.
Well, and here's the reality with the people in these two states is they don't give a fuck about whether or not the kids are actually getting educated. They don't care that the kids are going to school because that's what you're supposed to do because you have to educate your youth. They don't care about that. To these people, school is nothing more than free daycare so that they can go do whatever it is that they're going to do, whether that be go to work or go fuck around or go spin your single mom ass around a brass pole at the fucking Pitiful Princess down the road. They don't care. The schools are not there for education. They're there to watch their children. That's it.
Man, I can tell you though, man, if a dude is stripping, you know, because I've done it before. Now, let me tell you, okay, them girls got some long fucking fingernails, and they're talking about wanting to stick that shit in your motherfucking jockstrap. Now, I'm just saying, long fingernails, they look like they cut you, motherfucker, and trying to stick shit in my underwear up next to my goodies. Man, that's some scary shit. I'm sure women have something like that, but at least us dudes trim our nails, man.
The lead guitarist for my old band, he was a stripper. There used to be a strip club in Portland that was a male strip club that all the I guess we'll call them ladies would go to, and it was called Taylor's Viewpoint. And Male Review, and it had two sides. One side was girl strippers, the other side was boy strippers, and so yeah, he worked there, and we used to give him shit about it all the time, and joking, just joking with him, razzing him. But yeah, we used to joke about how he used to go through a bag of rubber bands a week.
Right.
Yep. So yeah, I've heard all those jokes before.
Yeah.
Shit, I invented some of those jokes.
Oh, you gotta have a sense of humor if you're gonna take your clothes off and shake your junk at people.
Oh yeah, well, and so I was a DJ at a strip club, and so I made my way around Portland. I was a DJ at a couple of strip clubs, and hell
yeah,
and I remember I went to Taylor's Viewpoint, and I will tell you, when you see the women over there tipping male dancers versus the guys tipping the female dancers, the women are way worse. I mean,
they're possessive.
Oh my God, dude. They're out of control. I saw the women do shit that the men, sitting there tipping dancers. Even the guys who went in to get a private dance, the guys would not do any of the shit that the women were doing. On the other side, you've got the women and the bouncers. Well, I mean, here's the double standard. The women would do shit that if a guy did that, they would be fucking thrown out. They would get their ass tossed out into the parking lot. But not the women. Oh, well, they're just women, just laugh it off. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Gander, goose, what the fuck?
If I had it to do all over again, I think I'd get my fucking my junk bejeweled, and I'd wear a cowboy hat and call myself the Rhinestone Cowboy.
Oh my God. No. I remember
hilarious.
One of the bouncers used to talk about how he had a Prince Albert, and I'm like, well, do you keep him in a can? And he's like, no, it's in my pants. I'm like, I don't want to know any more about that. I do not want to know.
It was about 30 years ago. We were fucking drinking mushroom tea and fucking smoking and having a great time. And this dude named Rob, he wanted a Prince Albert, and he had a 16-penny nail and a hammer, and he was challenging people to nail him on the stump, when they were like, no, and everyone was like, I don't even want to look at the dick, and I think he was playing and trying not to, but that dumb motherfucker handed me the hammer and goes, go on, man, do it, Wes, and I did it. I whack, and then he went, and it stuck in the fucking stump, and he's like, He's like, oh, you gotta get it off. You gotta get it off. And I go, you told me you'd handle it. All I do is fucking hit it, man. Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, so I mean, just we got him unloaded and all that, and he probably don't tell the story as much as I do.
It's like that scene in 4 Rooms where he dares the guy to cut his thumb off for the lighter.
Yeah.
He goes, whack, grabs it and runs.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you can't ever hand me a hammer and tell me to hit your junk because I mean that's bucket list shit right there. Hell yeah, I'm gonna do.
That'll hurt.
Oh, Jesus.
With a hammer?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, I mean, we were framing houses. We all had hammers. Tool belt. I mean, there'd be a 16, 24-ounce hammer.
Oh, shit. Oh, well. Hello, JT. Hello, Wes.
Hey, guys.
Hello, Will.
Hey, how you doing?
They come in every time a little late. We're in these deep conversations.
Oh yeah.
You can see the look. You can see the look
Hit
on
my
Will.
balls
It's like,
with
what
a
the
hammer.
fuck am I just stepped into?
About as deep as a mud puddle.
Yeah.
So
You could, I had a couple close friends that one dated a stripper and the other one was married to one, and so we spent quite a few days at the strip club, and the behind the scenes was very different.
oh my god. Yeah.
What the front facing.
So one of the things that I've always heard from guys when I was DJing was, "Oh my god," because you when you're a DJ at a strip club, you're not just just picking. You're not even using turntables, man. You're just picking music and playing it, right?
Sure.
And you're announcing whichever of these lovely ladies is on stage, but that also means that you are a babysitter. And
Right.
your job is to kind of, wrangle these girls to get their ass, because they all have, like absolutely zero work ethic. And so, probably 2/3 of your time is spent getting up, going into the dressing room, and getting whichever one of these bitches out onto the fucking floor because she's now a song and a half late, and the bar staff is going to kick your ass if you don't get them moving, right? And all these guys would always be like, oh my god, you're so lucky you get to go back in the dressing room. I'm like, dude, you do not want to go back there. It is not what you think, and it is a horror show in that room. I have seen things that will make your hair straight.
Yeah, it's well, that and you're sort of the eyes for security,
right?
Because oftentimes you've got a view that security doesn't have, and so you can direct them to wherever. Yeah, it's like I say, we were the table that they would come to basically take a break to get away from like regular customers.
Yeah, that's
because
yeah,
and so we'd heard a lot of crazy stories. That's for sure.
Yeah, going back in that dressing room, man, that is not the dream. I can tell you that. So, now that we have fixed the world of exotic dancers, welcome to Deepnight Revelation. We'll be picking up where we left off last week. They had a situation where one of the crew, and I am hard-pressed to pronounce her name. I'm going to just say Nima McCabe. Nima McCabe was arrested. Initially, she was going to be cited. One of the buckles on her boot was loose. That is a ticketable offense on Sastri because, hey, that could pose a danger to those around you. And she argued with it, with the cop issuing the ticket, and she was then arrested for being belligerent to a police officer, and is now facing 5 to 10 years in jail. See, this is the joys of a law level 13 world. So, but before we get started, we would like to thank one of the friends of the Greenwater Guildhall. None of these are partnerships or sponsorships of any kind. They are just products that we really like. Today, we'd like to thank Speechless Bard. She makes beautiful leather products for your tabletop role-playing games, such as leather covers for your core rulebook. She has a full line of dice bracelets if you like to show off your geeky side. She has a leather dice rolling mat that when you roll it up, it looks like a spell scroll. She just has she has pretty cool stuff, and she does all of the customization by hand, and she is an amazingly talented artist. If you're going to purchase, either for yourself or especially if it's a gift idea, and you're here in the United States, you're going to want to give yourself a little bit of extra time because she is over in the UK, and it can take a little while for it to cross the pond. But yeah, give her a look. The link to her website is down below in the video description, and so yeah, check her out. Speaking of merchandise, we have a couple of new items on the Greenwater merch store over at Zazzle. I've added a couple of button pins. One is a pin with the Greenwater logo on it. The other one is the pirate flag from our Wednesday night Pirates of Drynax group, and so those are going fairly inexpensively. So pick up some pins. Everything that is sold on the merch store gets dumped back into the channel, and so anything you can do to help us, we appreciate it. So, and before we get started, Gabe sends his apologies. He is not going to make it tonight. He has one of his twins is sick, so he is nursing sick chitlins.
Okay.
So,
I thought George was going to be not here.
Yeah, I thought you weren't going to make it tonight.
Nope, I am booked next Friday.
Yeah.
For the con, and I believe the Friday after.
Nice.
So I'm going to miss 2 weeks.
All right. Well, we will keep you in the loop. So, last week, Nima McCabe, like I said, she had been arrested. You guys came back to the ship, and so you hired a lawyer for her, which is, good thinking on your part. And you found out that lawyers are they have them here like they're convenience stores. There's a attorney on every street corner, and of course you're going to end up with that because it's a law level 13 world. Everybody needs a lawyer at some point, and I mean, and it's not just that it's law level 13; it's that they have some rather ridiculously stupid punishments for the most minor of infractions, and so this is a case. This whole world is a case of overregulation and thin skins that have, become the ruling class, and this is now the status quo. And so you guys got her an attorney. He said that he's going to look into things. Now he can't even tell you. He couldn't even tell you anything about her case or what the police were saying until their law on Sastri is that you have to be her attorney before you can get any access to any of that information. Unlike in the United States, in our world, where it's all public information, that's not the case on Sastri. And so he was able to at least get the preliminary information, and he took off to go deal with that. That was probably about 12 hours ago. Now you guys, the first thing you did is you went back to the ship, kind of told the captain and command, the bridge crew of what was going on. The captain canceled shore leave to the high port, and everybody has come back, and it is now the next morning. And there is an announcement that comes over the intercom from the bridge crew. Now, one of the things, and this is as good a point as any to interject with this. So part of your guys' normal uniform, you were issued mobile comms. Now, mobile comms are generally useless unless you're in a cellular, cell phone network. And most civilized worlds have a cell phone network of some time. Anybody that's about TL7 or higher is going to have a cell phone network. But these are wristwatches. They're basically a smartwatch. They have I want to say computer 1, computer/1. And these are basically for intership communications, because obviously you're unlikely to run into a cellular network way out in the Great Rift, but they are for intership communications. But anyways, that being aside, there is a intercom message that goes out ship-wide that the captain says that we regret to inform you that the crew that shore leave has been canceled permanently at Sastri, and also that we apologize because we had only planned for our stay here to be about 3 days, but it looks like we may be here longer. The Sastri High Port has decided to stop current refueling operations, and as they try to sort out our legal issues. And the captain says, do not be alarmed if you see Sastri security personnel on the ship. Part of their bureaucratic paperwork with all of this is that the Sastri government wants to do a complete inspection of our vessel. He says, please give them space, allow them to do their job if you run into them, and if we let them do their work, they will get done faster and be out of our hair, and hopefully we can get back to refueling.
Well, this could take weeks.
I'm assuming this system doesn't have a gas giant.
It does not.
Yeah.
There's an ice world, 2 of them.
I mean, we're just here at the port. I mean, is there like a rural place or something that we could take people via the air raft to go camping and shit?
That would be shore leave.
Yeah,
Well, I'm just saying if we were to go establish a recreational camp somewhere that was away from all the law enforcement and everything. I mean, it would be a safe place for people to go unwind, maybe go fishing, eat a crawdad, whatever.
Yeah, crawdads.
Yeah,
that would be shore leave.
Yeah, Captain.
It would be shore leave, but I mean, it would be like a specialized, approved shore leave. I mean, the captain has the power to say yes, he has the power to say no.
Well, first of all, you would have to get, in order to go down to the world, you would have to get approval from the High Port, and essentially because of their extreme law level and bureaucracy, that would mean going through a waiting period. You're going to have to be issued a visa that is only good for a certain length of time because you're not immigrating to the planet, and therefore they're going to keep tabs on it. I mean, every little thing that you're going to want to do here is multitudes of paperwork.
Yeah.
Vaccinations.
Yep, there's going to be vaccinations involved because, you don't want to be spreading the coof. And,
do they have any influential people that need tricky medical procedures of any kind? I happen to be a intergalactical
renowned doctor.
Yeah, very good. Perhaps favors and backs could be scratched.
I think making sure we pass the inspection is probably going to be the big deal.
Yeah, that's going to be the big thing. I mean, yeah. Oh man, this planet sucks. Yeah, there's just no good thing. I mean, even attempting to refuel at oceans or ice caps, just refueling at an ocean or ice cap is a 5-year incarceration.
Well, not to mention the fact that the deep space can't enter the atmosphere, and so we'd have to make multiple trips to refuel it.
Right.
I mean, it would be a real pain to refuel it from an ice cap.
Right. And so, so 2 things happen. The first thing that happens is that you guys are initially, after this broadcast, you guys make your way to the bridge, because usually after a broadcast like that, there's going to be some kind of meeting with division heads with the captain. And when you get to the bridge, the lawyer has contacted made contact, and he is contacting you. He is still on the high port. He tells you that he has received Miss McCabe's incident report, and he passes on the incident report to you guys. And so this is what the incident report says. So essentially, they tried to give her a $300 ticket because one of her bootstraps was unsecured, and she, according to the cop, it was a 300 credit fine, and the cop claims that McCabe became belligerent and questioned the validity of the citation. So the cop immediately called for backup and arrested her for inciting public discord, questioning the authority of high port personnel, and becoming belligerent with an officer of the peace. And this was yesterday, and they were waiting to transfer her to the downport facility.
Uh-oh.
Man, that sucks.
The lawyer tells you that he is fairly certain that she has been transferred to the downport facility. He is currently, as he's messaging you this, he is waiting for, he's in the waiting area. He is boarding a shuttle that is going to take him down to the downport facility, where he hopes to get more information. He will radio back to you as soon as he has more information. He's hoping to meet with her today, and they can start developing a defense to get her out of this.
Well, so in terms of sentencing on things like this, I'm assuming the judge's hands are tied if she's found guilty. So if she were to simply confess to the crime, what would be the sentencing that we would expect?
He says that if she were to plead guilty, he says that could be as light as, a year's worth of community service. He says is not terribly uncommon, but he says usually it would be, if she were to plead guilty, it would usually be something like a year's worth of community service and court mandated therapy.
If she doesn't live on the planet but was merely visiting, is that the same type of sentencing that would occur?
Yeah, the government of Sastri doesn't care that she's got places to be.
But I mean that also means that they don't care about tourism whatsoever.
They really
right? I mean,
don't.
they're already amber zoned, right? They're already amber zoned, and so they have nothing in place.
Yeah, no, they really don't.
Can we attend the trial?
No. Well, I mean, not without a visa, but which could take upwards of a week to obtain. But you will be sent live feed from the trial.
Let's go down and get her.
I'd like to get permission to attend. I'd like to, if the time permits, I'd like to go ahead and apply for the visa and see if I could go on and attend the trial in person.
Yeah, I mean, the captain in these circumstances, and you guys being, mission division command, if that's what you want to do, you can of course start the process. Do you have admin?
Let me take a quick look. I believe I went to medical school, so they might have had something along that for me. You know what I mean?
George wants to do a jailbreak.
It's definitely part of the skills.
Yeah, but
We're
no,
gonna throw grenades
I
and
do
do a
not have
jailbreak.
admin, but I am willing to pay this attorney that we already have in talking to go ahead and file my paperwork for me.
So there is
Yeah,
not, the Imperium does not have any kind of ambassador, or there's no
There's no counselor or anything.
no representative at all of the Imperium here.
Nope.
Look, this is my plan, okay? I'm going to take a side drug. and then I'm going to go down into the damn thing, and I'm going to put a mind thing on the judge that she's innocent, and then I'm going to sit back and watch things unfold.
Or just convince her to plead guilty, and then convince the judge to sentence her to
banishment.
That she needs to leave the planet and never return. That would satisfy everything.
Yeah, but I think the higher chance is me hitting a 12 when I have +5 on the roll.
Right, but my worry about the innocent thing is that other people will question that decision, whereas other people may not question banishment.
I'll cross those kind of roads when they come along.
Right, but I'm saying that in terms of the plan, I mean, if you force
that's the judge's problem.
No, but it isn't the judge's problem. Somebody could then claim tampering. I'm just saying, if you're going to use psionics in a public place on a public decision, try to do it in such a way that others aren't going to question what happened. And so having him find her guilty, but then sentence her to something we want, is less likely to draw attention than having him all of a sudden find her innocent when clearly she's not innocent by their laws.
So, while you guys are, while Bocephus is contacting the lawyer and telling him to file paperwork to get you a
How much
visa.
will this cost me?
To file the paperwork is going to be 200 credits.
200 credits. I'll do it. I'll file the paperwork. Can I pay extra to have it expedited or anything? Is there a rush availability that we can file to make things go quicker?
Not particularly. I mean, there is, but the lawyer tells you that in his experience, it doesn't really get you anywhere. Other than less money.
Okay. Well, then I'm deducting it from my money now.
Okay. So, Randolph, you I mean, this message came in fairly early in the morning, and Randolph, you go to one of the common areas to make yourself something to eat, and you are grabbing some breakfast chow, and this guy, Alberin Moss, he comes into the mess hall, and he just seems highly agitated. This guy is clearly pissed off, and other people are asking him, other crew members like, well, what's going on, Moss? What's the issue? He gets pissed off and dumps a bunch of stuff off of a table. And he is pissed off, and he's bitching about how the captain has allowed some podunk planet out in the middle of nowhere that has actually taken an Imperial citizen. And he proclaims very loudly that he is going to make sure that the Sastri security forces regret this. And he stomps off and leaves the mess hall.
I follow him to see where he's going.
Okay. Are you?
And then I calm the rest of the team to let him know what happened, that I'm going to investigate it.
Okay. So you guys all get a comm from Randolph saying, this guy's. If you want to talk about who's being belligerent, this guy. And
this guy is being belligerent.
Yes, this guy's being belligerent. And
I'd throw him in the brig until the inspection's over.
So Randolph, you follow this guy, and you see that he goes to an armory, and you kind of look around the corner, and there is two other guys that are standing outside the armory, and they kind of nod to one another. And the door opens, and you see that there are about 5 more people inside, and one of the people that you see is Sub-Lieutenant Alex Venati. and she is
she's the ringleader.
She is passing out Gauss rifle carbines to these people. You're not close enough to hear what they're saying, but she's handing out weapons and ammo.
That can't be good.
This can't be good. I calm the other guys and let them know that someone's passing out.
I'll start heading that way.
And it's Sir. What's her name? What's her face that we?
Well,
the niece of the Duke is having
so I'll calm her.
Okay.
And I'll tell her, have everyone put the weapons back. We are not about to create a diplomatic situation or war on this planet over this arrest. She violated the law, and she is being held, and we are going to follow the legal procedures. Have everyone stand down and put the weapons away.
Her response to that is that we're not going to allow an Imperial citizen to be taken captive, and then she...
Are you disobeying an order?
She hangs up.
All right. Then she's going to get arrested for... Yeah, she's going to learn a military...
and so Randolph, you see her and
I'm going to have
6 other people...
off that section of the ship so that they can't leave.
So, Randolph, you see her and about 6 other people leave the armory and are heading down this gangway here, number 14, heading aft.
Yeah, I'm going to have it sealed off.
Okay, so you're sealing off 14, which is... Well, 14 shows a lift, but that whole gangway. Okay.
And I'll radio the captain, and I'll say, we have a potential mutiny. There are armed soldiers that are now attempting to go free the person who is on planet side. They need to return to the armory, return all weaponry to the armory. We have sealed off, and I'll basically state the hallway that we've sealed off.
Okay.
Stopping by my med bay to grab a couple of big, nice, juicy bottles of good old Bo Cephas's root juice, and I'm heading on down to the.
So what is this? I have a revolver, right? Your uniform is a revolver.
Yeah, but I mean, it's probably locked up in your quarters.
Hell no. In that case, I have a body pistol on me and a stunner.
Yeah, stunners wouldn't be a bad idea. So the captain takes Sarda's information and alerts security, and you can see that the ship is now abuzz with security personnel who are also packing weaponry. They do have stunners, but they are armed with. They are also armed with Gauss carbines, and they are heading in that direction.
Yeah, I'm headed there too.
Yeah, we all are.
Finally, yeah.
Okay. So
it's just however we file in, I guess. Of course, Randy's there, right?
Randolph is there.
Yeah.
I'm peering around the corner wondering what the hell did I get myself into.
This map is really weird. It says 14 is a left. But it doesn't...
But yeah, you're talking about the hallway there.
Yeah. Yeah, this hallway.
That's what I gathered you were saying.
Yeah, it's this hallway here. I'm just trying to figure out where this lift is, and it's not... I don't know. I hate these isometric maps. But
yeah, because the green lines are usually the lift, right? That's
but that's not where it's well, I guess there's one here. In here. Oh, okay. Anyways, so security shows up and they force their way into the hall. You guys kind of are just behind security, as they bust in, and you can see that there is Sub-Lieutenant Venati and these 6 other individuals, and they all take up, they take a knee and take gunnery positions in the hallway. And Venati yells out, she says, "I'm going and I'm getting our girl. We're not going to leave an Imperial citizen here."
There are 900 people on the ship. Do the 5 of you think they can take us all on? Stand down and put your weapons away.
The other 6 guys start to kind of look at her, and you can see that they're like really questioning their life decisions at this point. Go ahead and make a persuasion plus intellect or education check.
Oops.
Okay.
Rolling poorly.
Okay. So this standoff goes on for a while. And
I'm going to go ahead and approach it after a few moments. I'll just walk up to her, start heading that way with my palms forward. I'm unarmed.
Okay.
Besides, I'm covering you from behind them.
I'm like, now, there's no reason to go crazy against us. We're friends, and we've got a long way to go together. And if you start shooting, they're just going to gun all of you down. Just talk to me.
So when you say that, like 2 of the other guys set their rifles down, lay down on the floor, and put their hands behind their heads.
Now, see, that is a wise decision. What we have here is failure to communicate.
That seems to happen a lot.
Venati is pissed, kind of. I mean, I can't really say that it's not a legitimate anger, and she hasn't set her gun down yet. She's not surrendering, but she is pleading her case, to just send in a strike team and liberate her, and we get the fuck out of here.
She is not on the station even. She's on planet side in a prison. How the hell are you going to storm the planet?
We'll take a shuttle.
I'll go ahead. And
really? You think that'll do it? And you're talking about a system in which you cannot even travel to the planet without permission. Your shuttle shot down.
Opening up the bottle, we'll take a little sip and hand it to her.
Okay.
Does she take it?
She does take it.
And then I'm going to grapple her arm with her arm that's got the gun in it.
Okay. Go ahead and make a. Yeah. Go ahead and make a. Well, hold on. Oh, I hate grapple.
I'm sorry, but that's the appropriate move to disarm.
It's just a melee attack. Is all it is. It's its own form of melee attack. So
it is, but there. Let's see.
I have rules.
It's contested.
It is contested.
Yeah, it's a contested melee attack.
Okay.
I'm just going to hit them both with a stunner.
So I'll get plus. Well, plus 1.
I just want to know. Okay. How do you plan on refueling the ship? Is that going to happen during your raid on the system, or is that after?
Yeah, we'll have to go to an ice world and somehow get ice.
Okay.
I got a 6.
You grab her arm and you have her, which means she's not able to use the gun.
That's right. And I'll say, now calm down and take a drink and just let go of the gun, and you won't be punished or lose rank or anything like that. We have measures in place to get our crew member back. We're trying the easy way that doesn't burn this or cause death and destruction. You got to use your head. And I'll speak in a calm voice, There's just got to go hold of the gun. Like there's no reason.
High point.
Yeah. No reason for you to get, to turn against us. is, you know, I mean, if you burn the bridge with this ship as you storm off, where exactly do you plan on going when you get this other thing? You going to come back and take over the ship too? Come on. Take a drink.
Let's go of the gun. The gun clatters to the floor. She takes a drink and she hands you the bottle back, and she says, "All right, I surrender."
That's what I'm talking about, Pawpaw, right there.
But you can see that she is still pissed off. The other 4 guys behind her, they set their guns down. They get down on the floor, put their hands behind their head. Security moves in and shackles all of them to take them off to the brig.
They need a timeout, not really punishment.
Yeah.
They need a timeout.
They need a timeout.
Yeah, just a little timeout.
Separate them all in the brig. Don't let them all.
Don't leave them bunched up.
Yeah, don't let them fester in the.
I'm going to request the captain to get permission to give the ringleader the knock-knock juice. A hot, but I'm not going to call it the knock-knock juice. You know, I'm going to say, you know, I have an extreme sedative that will let her sleep for a week.
Extreme sedative.
and you know, by then maybe we can have you know,
a solution.
We can solution, you know, and then we can bring her back into the fold with a strong mental health regimen later. That's my professional medical opinion.
But before they leave, I mean, I just want to stress that, look, our ship is not fueled. Without fuel, we cannot go anywhere. So if you create a diplomatic issue, we're stuck here. And so,
well, yeah, we've taken a stance already with the whole crew that fuck around and we will lock you in the brig.
Yeah, but we want them to understand why an attack would not work. It is completely unfeasible.
Oh yeah, this was totally stupid.
5 people in a storm shuttle are not going to slip into the planet, break into a high security prison, remove a prisoner, and then get back to an unfueled ship and somehow make a miraculous escape. This was a very poorly thought out plan.
They might have had loaded dice.
If you're going to create, if you're going to commit,
loaded with what?
I don't know, but if you roll a bunch of 12s, you're going to do whatever the fuck you want to do.
I mean, at least have a decent plan if you're going to commit.
Oh yeah, this was hot headed. This was the same levels of tantrum, but rather than just do some, you know, nefarious knocking out, I will send a request to the captain to give a heavy sedative to, you know, so we can begin mental health, you know, in a nice, healthy way.
The captain questions over the comm, questions the head of security, and asks him if in his opinion, if he thinks that Sub-Lieutenant Venati would need this kind of procedure. And the chief of security is like, I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but I mean, Bocephus is. And so Bocephus, go ahead and make a persuasion plus education check.
All right. Yeah. Okay, yeah. And then education?
Yeah.
All right, I'll get a little nice roll on this. Here we go.
Oh, shit. So the captain says, well, doctor, we're going to go ahead and place her in your care. If you think that a sedative and some psychotherapy may do her some good, then, you know.
We have to get down and get to the core of why she's really angry, Captain. And without that, we've got to strip away the bullshit. And
okay, so
yeah,
you get her to the brig, which is down here, and or up here rather, I guess, or no, it's down there, and so you give her a shot, and she's gonna take a little nap, and I mean, she's gonna be out for what? Well, she'll be out for about 4 hours.
Yeah, but the mental, her memory will be gone and all that.
Right, yeah, she's not going to even remember her name when she wakes up.
Yeah, so it'll be great. It's a wonderful experience.
So you guys make your way back to the bridge in one of the briefing rooms up here. on deck 1, and you get yet another. This is now like another couple of hours has gone by dealing with this whole situation and getting them settled and putting her down, and you get back to the bridge, and the captain, he brings up a very good point. He says that we're just going to leave them in the brig to cool their jets for a while, calm their tits, and they can sit there for a while and think about what they've done, and hopefully that will be enough, because the reality is that it's not like we can just leave them somewhere, or unless it's an extreme case, we can't space them.
My concern is more that
we're not going to space. We're not going to space. Go ahead.
My concern is the inspection. We don't want them to do anything to jeopardize the inspection, such as, say, take a hostage and then demand a hostage exchange, which was something that would be more likely to work than their horrible plan. But it's one of those things where I'm afraid if they're loose, they may decide to go through with something like that.
Right.
And so, I want them to be there. They should be in the brig at least through the inspection, so that we can get through it safely.
Yeah, the captain's just laying it out for all of the division heads, including you guys, is that this is the situation. We can't just. It's not like we can go to port and let the authorities deal with these people, because there are no authorities. We are it. And not to mention the fact that we can't replace crew. So
I'm sure that what they did was a crime on the system, a conspiracy to commit a crime, right? I mean,
undoubtedly.
Yeah.
Probably cut their heads off.
Yeah, the captain's not willing to turn even in the case of like murder, he would really be questioning whether or not he would want to turn anybody over to the Sastri government.
Sure.
I mean, who knows what they're due for murder? Probably not the death penalty, because that's not how these people operate. It's probably
a new brain.
It's probably going to be honestly a lot worse than the death penalty. And so, but while you guys are there, the attorney calls back, and he tells you that Miss McCabe is down on the downport. They have put her in for a psychological evaluation. That evidently that started before he even arrived. He does have a psych eval report that your doctor can look over, and he sends that to you.
All right, let's take a look at that and compare it to the psych evaluation we have on file.
So a couple of things stand out on this. First of all, is that she is listed as that her current medication is something called anestazine, and that she arrived in a highly agitated and distressed state, and that this Dr. Johann Borgers administered anestazine to her. He then goes on, it says that the duration of the interview was 90 minutes. And the patient was claiming to have an encounter with what can only be described as an alien mushroom creature, and that she kept circling back to that encounter with that creature, and kept proclaiming that Sastri had insufficient safeguards to protect themselves against infection. And his diagnosis is that McCabe clearly suffers from psychosis and social dissociative disorder, and recommends incarceration with therapy with medication. Now,
all right. She broke protocols so hard.
Well,
I mean, those are our rules. You don't talk that way.
Bocephus, make a medic plus education check.
What was her position on the ship?
She's just an ensign, but according to her personnel file, Sarda, you are able to see that she was brought on board because she was a space hand aboard a freighter that did have an encounter with the Deepnight entity. And that was why she was brought on board. She was considered a survivor out of a crew of 15. She was only one of 3 people that survived that encounter, and she was brought on when she applied simply because of that. Aside from that, I mean, she's nothing really special. She has spent her time learning science xenology, although she is by no means an expert. She is equipped, or she is skilled in vac suit mechanic, and she is a small craft operator. Beyond that, she's not really anything special, aside from the fact that, like you guys, she has encountered the entity before.
Yeah, but she's broke protocol with the
so why don't we contact the attorney and say she is suffering from PTSD and she has been removed from her attending physician, and that we need her back on the ship so that she can continue the treatment that her attending physician has been giving her.
Well, it's even
let's see what my medical role.
It's even worse than that. So, Bocephus, you have not really heard of anastazine before, so you do a little local search. Using the local data net, and you find that anastazine, in addition to being a fairly powerful sedative, it also acts like a truth serum. Now, if you know anything about truth serum doesn't necessarily make you tell the truth. Sodium pentothal makes all of your neurons fire at once. And so you can go off on a rambling tangent about whatever is in your surface thoughts, and it will come out of your mouth. You have pretty much no control over the babbling that you're going to do.
Does this sound like what happened to, possibly related to her encounter with the whatever it is that she encountered?
I don't know, but she really brought a lot of this shit on herself. I mean, most of this is attitude imposed. And man, it's a hard no when you start telling the secrets.
You don't have a choice if you're drugged. Is what the point is.
I mean, she's been given a truth drug.
So what? Is there anything that
talking about an encounter?
Bocephus, is there anything you could gin up that might show that there'd be a problem with her taking that drug? That drug caused the babbling, that it induced the psychosis?
I sure will write up a report. I will take the basic stuff in the chemistry of this drug and try to come up with a way to sell the idea that it causes hallucinations and mental instability. And it'd be my recommendation that perhaps she is unable to actually stand trial. She needs to be left out of the proceedings because she's not mentally safe. We want her back in her care.
Or even threaten to bring a legal attack on the doctor who administered it without consulting her attending physician who's on this ship.
I'll try to play
that certainly has to be against their legal.
What does the lawyer say? Is that against their laws or something? I could file
It isn't against their laws. The physician that does the psych evaluation pretty much has carte blanche, because if the law system here assumes that if they are incarcerated, that they are in need of some kind of help. And so the government of Sastri's position is that they are obligated to give that help to whoever is in need. And in this case, the doctor felt that she was in need of
truth serum.
It was in need of mental therapy. Anastazine is fairly common on Sastri as part of mental therapy. Now, what you're reading that as, what that really comes across as more like reprogramming.
Yeah, and man, I'm not...
Because as soon as she's injected with this shit, she's going to be highly susceptible to pretty much any kind of suggestion. And if she were to be incarcerated and given this daily over a period of months to years, she's not even going to be the same person when she comes out.
Maybe not, but we have trial coming up, and I guess that's the biggest thing I can do. I don't know if I can
Do we? I mean, I don't know what the turnaround is on trials,
So,
right? I mean,
so the attorney tells you that this medical report or this psych eval report is not good. It's damning, and he's worried that they're going to throw her into a mental health facility. For probably if she pleads guilty. They'll probably throw her in for 2 to 3 years, and she's going to be drugged up. And he says that he doesn't like the sound of that. I mean, aside from the fact that you need your crewmen aboard for whatever it is that you're doing, but he says, aside from that, he hasn't met anybody that has come out of that situation that is healthy and normal.
So she has been undergoing medical attention here. She is suffering from PTSD from a traumatic experience in her past, and we are worried that what is being done will countermand and undo any advances that have been made in her medical care. And so I would be concerned that your planet has essentially taken a kidnapped victim from our system and from our.
Let's not try to bully them.
I'm not bullying them. I'm looking into their legal codes. Their legal codes must cut both ways. And there has to be
that's an assumption.
Well,
no kidding.
I bet it's all government.
So,
I don't know what type of government is it. I know that has a very high legal code.
It's a dictator, if I remember right.
It is. Let me see what it says.
I just think our best bet's to get to the trial and
Well, they even.
Well, I'm thinking of Earth, in which a trial like this would not occur for months. That's why I'm saying I don't know how fast the trial is going to be.
Well,
Can we
I'm
not take
concerned
one of
about.
our big guns and threaten their whole planet? I mean, look at our ship and the armament that we have. We threaten their whole planet, say, give her up or we're going to take everything out. What are they going to do?
With this report, I doubt they'll even go to trial.
Well, they got to get to trial.
It is
don't.
an overly legal. It's got to follow its own laws.
That's true, but at this point,
with
the introduction of a medical problem, she may be put in the remands of the medical society side of the government, and not even prosecuted.
So
maybe we could try multiple thought implants. If we get this visa. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Their government is not a dictatorship. It is the worst kind of diplomatic or democratic republic. It is what is known as a civil service bureaucracy. Ruling factions are performed by government agencies employing individuals selected for their expertise. And I'm going to say that in quotes. And examples would be a technocracy or communism.
Guess what? That sounds just like Honorverse.
So that means there is somebody who is an expert at diplomatic affairs that would be involved in the planet's relations with the nations like the Imperium. And so it would be good to talk to them to let them know this is a diplomatic situation that has direct, dire consequences on this planet's future of its involvement with the Imperium.
Okay.
And it also means that there will be a trial, and we have a situation where we agree that people need medical treatment, and she is in need of medical treatment, but she's been getting that ongoing from a physician here on our ship, and that anything they do can and will have a negative and adverse effect on her mental health because they are not following the regimes that are being followed by our doctors. And so that would be, I would suggest that we request that any and all medical treatment stop until the trial can occur, because they are doing so against the wishes of her own physician.
So the lawyer says that he can put you guys in contact with a diplomatic envoy from the government. Bocephus, your visa is going through the proper channels, and he's hoping that it looks promising. With all of this information, it looks promising that it may be done by the end of the day. He has gone ahead and been proactive about it before he contacted you with this information. He went in and went ahead and filed for visas for all of you. So he's hoping that by the end of the day, it will put you guys with the ability to land a ship. You don't have to take a Sastri shuttle. He's hoping that the visa will allow you to land one of your own craft if you so choose, and at the downport, and you can go ahead and.
What's their media situation?
They do have system-wide news because, and let me switch back over to that map. So if you look at their system, they do have a number of planetoids, plenty of ice worlds, and smaller worlds, and like for instance, this big beast here at 0.46 AU has a couple of ring systems. So they've got, mining colonies and everything else going on in the system. So there are news broadcasts that are sent out system wide to all of these various.
Why don't we see if one of the news networks has a station on or anybody at the high port that could come onto our ship and be given an interview.
Okay, so he can put you in contact with a diplomatic representative down on Sastri. Which do you want to do first? Try to contact a news organization, or do you want to contact this diplomat?
Let's do the news organization before Bocephus leaves, right? Because we want to make sure that this is considered a health situation. We can have Bocephus represent himself as her doctor, and basically explain the dire situation she's in if other types of treatment are being done to her.
Okay.
I want to see about hiring a legal and code advisor to accompany me and anyone that goes with me anytime that we go onto the planet. And so as we start to go anywhere doing anything, we have somebody that'll say, hey, that's technically illegal, right?
Okay. So
you know what I'm saying? So I mean, they can look us over and go, okay, man, you're not breaking any laws. You're good to go on the planet. And then as we move about the planet, I mean, if it's against the law to piss on the sidewalk and one of us starts to do it, I want a guy around us that'll say, hey, don't be pissing on the sidewalk.
So you actually don't have to hire a legal advisor. I mean, you can, of course, if that's what you want to do. But there is a local app on the planet that can be installed to mobile comms that is basically like Clippy from the old Microsoft Word that will pop up and say things like, hey, it looks like you're pissing on the sidewalk. Did you know that that's illegal? Would you like to know more about this? And it's a completely searchable legal database of all the do's and do nots on Sastri. There's a lot more do nots than do's.
Augmented reality that just basically points out every illegal infraction that's visible.
Essentially, yes.
And then if you do it, it automatically just sends a message to the police.
You're pissing on the sidewalk. So. You've just broke 43 different violations.
You have 10 seconds to cease and desist before we contact the police.
Right. Yes. Right. Yeah. And it'll give out GPS information about you specifically.
Right. So it is educational, and it can prevent you from being arrested if you can react quick enough.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's not a complete loss.
It'll allow me not to break laws accidentally. So.
Right. Yeah. So, and I mean, that's free for visitors and everybody.
We'll share it.
Generously given to you by the government of Sastri.
Okay. Cool.
So, and which bureaucracy runs it?
No.
Right. Well, it's probably run by multiple bureaucracies, but they have to get together and talk about updates. So it hasn't been updated in like 15 years.
Geez, that sounds like we're.
Does a lawyer have a time frame on when the trial might be? How long are we talking?
He's trying to push for an expedited trial, and he says the danger in that is that can either that can work in our favor if we can convince the judge that that she just needs to be on her ship with her actual doctor, and you guys can get out of here and we can leave this whole thing behind. Because he goes, really what our argument really is going to be, it is cheaper to put her on the ship and get you guys on your way than it is to incarcerate her and give her mental care for the next 3 to 5 years on the government dime for somebody who's not even a citizen. He's like, that's
also
really...
the fact that this system's orange coded, right, as a result of this legal situation.
Yeah, it's amber zone.
If it's amber zone, if they ever want to get rid of that amber zone, this type of situation is only going to make things worse. And so, that's the other thing to dangle in front of them in terms of, from a diplomatic perspective, that this type of incident makes that amber zone, it reinforces that amber zone and could make it a red zone system.
Yeah, like when you look up Sastri, like in the there is a TAS hostel on the world, believe it or not.
Ooh.
And the TAS database just brings up, like, so you were dumb enough to go to Sastri, and really that amber zone is a TAS. It's not something that's done by the Imperium or anybody else. It is actually the Travelers Aid Society that says this place is a shithole. Don't go here. But if you do, we have a TAS hostel. That's probably as close to a diplomatic embassy as you're going to get. There's no Imperium government embassy here. From what you can discern, according to TAS, is that there was originally some negotiation between the Third Imperium and Sastri to put an embassy here because it is one of the few places for in the traffic lanes that you can refuel at. But the Imperium decided, fairly quickly that Sastri was basically more trouble than they were worth.
That's fun.
So,
which represents billions and billions of credits lost to the system because they're losing.
Completely.
Yeah, so so from a
you have to win the voters before they make any change, man. It's one of those things.
So, who is going to be the one to contact the news agency? That will require a persuasion plus charm check. In this case,
I have a charm of 10 and a persuasion of 1, so I'll get +2 on the roll.
You've got me beat, Spades. My stats suck.
All right.
Wait, man, I've got a social of 6 and a gun.
So that means you get boon checks on your persuasion.
I got a charm.
Well, it's charm.
I got a charm of 7 and a persuasion of -3.
Oh.
My charm is 8 and I have a 0 in persuasion.
So Bocephus, you get in contact with a local news, Sastri 12 news, and you talk to this their foreign minister and health reporter. And she is, first of all, she's exceptionally interested in the fact that she got a call from anybody from Deepnight Revelation, because she has actually been following some of the reports that she's gotten of your mission coming out of the Imperium and out of the Trojan Reach and now into this area. And so she's been very excited, but she tells you she's shocked that she heard from you because it seems like the government has kind of almost immediately as soon as you got here, kind of cloistered the ship off from everybody else. And so she's ecstatic to hear about you. She's got so many questions, but she's also very interested in this entire situation about your crewmate's health and being detained on the planet's surface. She would love to come to Revelation and interview all of you.
All right.
Well, I mean, we're such social people. Of course, come talk to us, and we will have many answers for you.
So my social's 10.
So she tells you It's so funny that your social is 10 because you're the guy who spent all his time on an X-boat out in the middle of, BFE
right.
in the island subsector.
He can actually entertain himself.
I was kind of a sought-after person on my home planet because my dad was the main tax collector.
Well, right, but I mean, beefed up his...
People assumed that they could meet me and fluce my dad.
He beefed up his social by spending so much time talking to himself that he just became this magnetic personality. Right, yes.
And I mean, is she coming right away? Or
yeah, she's gonna pack. She's gonna pack her stuff. And
she's at the high port.
Yeah, she's not at the high port. She's on the surface, but she is packing her stuff, and she's gonna take one of the private news shuttles and head directly up to the high port to meet with you.
Oh, that's wonderful.
She wants to know if, rather than docking at the high port, if it would be acceptable for her to dock with Revelation directly.
Oh man, we would love to have you aboard. The Deepnight Revelation is just a wonderful.
We can film her coming aboard.
Oh man, yeah.
We're not getting catfished. News reporter.
So
I don't know, but I'm gonna break. I'm gonna warm up some of my special brew like a sake and have shot glasses sitting around a little table.
Okay, you wouldn't let me shoot the pregnant girl back on the planet. So if she gets out of line, can I shoot her?
Yes.
All right.
You might want to look at the record. You might look at the medical records of the person who was arrested so that we can explain the PTSD and the situation that's occurred, and explain the ongoing treatment she's experiencing, and how basically spell that out for her so that it becomes publicly known, and the worries about giving her a drug that causes someone who's had a horrific past experience to then be exposed to the types of drugs that they're currently exposing her to will bring all that trauma back immediately, and that it goes against all of her current psychological treatment that she's undergoing. I mean, that's the big thing I would so we might want to look at those records and make sure that they're
yeah, of course I'll look over her records.
Right, but we may need to edit them or get them in a situation that we could give to the media. You know what I mean?
So, yeah, okay, that's fair enough. Then, yeah.
So get your black marker and redact certain things.
No,
redact all
anything about the Deepnight entity. That's right.
I'm just gonna create a medical record that I think suits my needs, and there it is.
That's what I'm saying. It's prep work that has to be done before she shows up. That's all I'm saying.
So yeah, I'm just gonna make her. I'm not gonna take her actual file and redact shit. I'm going to make her a new file that I'm going to share. I'm going to base it off her actual file. And, I'm going to make a medical case. I'll use, some common psychological stuff and some medical stuff. And I'll talk about her PTSD and everything. And I'll talk about how she has a chemical imbalance in her body that counteracts with this drug that they're giving her right now. And I'll also make a point in the report to say basically that I'm not blaming the other doctors so much because, he was just given a patient without a full view of what her actual, body is, what it, the enzymes it produces based off what she eats, and her, freaky fetishes of doing stuff by herself. It creates a bad mix for this drug that she's taking. It's terrible.
So who wants to make your choice, either admin or advocate role, to contact this diplomat?
Now, that is not my thing.
Does anybody have admin or advocate?
I have admin one.
I have both, but they're not high.
Yeah, well. Mine are extremely non-existent.
Well, so because you are calling from an Imperial ship,
my advocate.
Before you make that advocate roll, you may want to roll a third dice, because I'm going to let you roll with a boon.
All right.
Well, there, do it. Hell yeah. Somebody with all them skills do the good shit. Get us a 13 or something.
So that would be a 9 plus 1, 10 is what that ends up being with the boon.
Okay, so Essentially, everything that we've discussed, you talked to this diplomat down on Sastri, and basically, so Sastri, because the Imperium kind of backed out of their entire idea of putting an embassy here, essentially, I mean, this guy doesn't say that, but say it directly, but in so many words, he basically tells you that the Imperial ambassador or the Imperial Diplomatic Corps basically came to the decision that Sastri is batshit crazy with their regulations. And this is coming from the Third Imperium. That's really saying a lot. I mean, the only thing that's worse than the Third Imperium would be the Soleimani Confederation. And they're saying that Sastri's worse than the Soleimani, which, oddly enough, most of Sastri is of Soleimani descent. But, so, I don't know, maybe Earth's ridiculousness has spread out into the stars. But
maybe trade with the Imperium could be better if there were a middleman port that perhaps,
Well, I mean, that is beyond. That's really beyond the discussion. I mean, it's of course, but I mean that's not going to get hammered out anytime soon. But dealing with this current situation, the diplomat agrees, and he fast tracks your visas and stamps them off, and tells you that he agrees you do need to be there. He is going to get her out of the mental facility and put a stop to her drugs, and just put her into a solitary cell. He doesn't want to put her in with Gen Pop.
That sounds wonderful.
I don't think we want her in Gen Pop either.
Yeah, is maybe the diplomat guy, maybe we can go with the medical angle and ask if we could just trade a real nice medical procedure by the best doctor in this entire part of the universe. These magic hands can be of good use. I mean, what, do you have somebody that needs cancer removed, or a chocodicophomy, or an addictomy, if they're going the other way with it?
I've never heard that before.
Oh yeah. You get a chocodicophomy or an addictomy. It's just,
That's so appropriately worded.
Did I put it on Twitter earlier, George, that sometimes you're hungry for fish tacos, but then you go to the restaurant, you open the bag, and all that's in there is beanie weenies.
Man, I don't have any news. But I mean, the diplomat, if there's a way that we could do something like perhaps a little task or anything that would be befitting of whoever has power to make things go away and get right, we would be willing to try to do something like that, just to trade to, acknowledge the wrong and just have a banishment.
Well, Sastri is tech level 9, and so I mean, coming from the Imperium and being a doctor who trained, somewhere between tech level 10 and 15, your skills are impressive, but nobody on the world, they're not looking for medical personnel. I mean, there are millions of people here, and they've got good doctors as far as they know.
Oh well, the poor.
They do have some imported technology, so it's not like the doctors are unable, to use it.
Yeah, I mean, not even on that level. I mean, if there's somebody that you need us to go blow up for you, that threatens you or whatever, just
say that.
Yeah, I don't know that I would want to bring that up.
I'm just saying.
That might be a tad bit illegal, even mentioning it.
Well, no, I mean, if they have pirate problems or whatever, I mean, that might be a quick, easy thing we could take care of to make all this.
Should I go get the Windex cleaned up and we'll do diagnostics on it?
Right. So yeah, the diplomat fast tracks your visas. He totally agrees that about your situation. He for his part, with Sarda's 10 on advocate, the diplomat is going to contact the courts and recommend he thinks the best solution for this is if you guys just weren't here anymore. And so he is going to recommend to the courts that they fast track this and release her into your custody, whether that means that, a banishment, whatever. However, the courts decide to do it, as long as she's put back on your ship and you guys are sent on your way. He says that he is going to order that the refueling of the ship be restarted once the inspection of your ship is complete. And so
sounds wonderful.
So you guys get off the call with him just as a couple of slow pinnaces dock with your ship with two cadres of security personnel, and they split up into groups of two to kind of walk up and down and stalk the ship. And essentially, you can tell right off when you see these guys, their entire thing is about looking for anything that they can cite you for. And the first thing that they immediately cite you for is the still in Bocephus's medbay.
It's for making alcohol. I mean, it's ethyl.
You know what? That still's not on their on their starport. It's in our ship.
Yeah, but they count everything in their system as having to follow their laws. Now
I'm trying to just.
Your doctors don't use medical grade alcohol to sterilize equipment. I'm shocked. You would think that would be very important for them.
Go ahead and make an advocate. Advocate plus intellect roll.
Oh my God!
Or education, whichever you choose.
This is like the 8th time we need. I should have been a lawyer.
I know, 10. Right?
10. Yeah, okay. I mean, we're on a 20-year mission. We have to make our own ethyl alcohol. It is important to be able to make it. This is for medical use. It's why it's in the med bay, not in the cafeteria.
So that's a good point. So instead of issuing a citation, they just issue you a warning, and to make sure that in the future, you'll want to make sure that this is properly labeled. You wouldn't want anybody to accidentally come in here and drink some of this.
Oh, I wouldn't recommend drinking it as make your urine tract burn.
It's 120 proof. Randolph, after hearing this, Randolph immediately goes down to the engineers and says, "Hide the still."
Yeah. Clean up the copper tubing off of the reactor core. We're gonna.
But they have like this inspection team, and they have a head inspector.
No, they don't really have a head inspector. They are just it is two groups of security personnel that break off into groups of two and just kind of spread out searching the ship.
Okay.
In the end, after they are done with their security walkthrough, the captain is issued with a citation for approximately local money. It comes out to about 12,000 credits. They found some contraband. Mainly what they found were drugs. And we're not talking about medicinal drugs. We're talking about the fun stuff. And a couple of unsecured firearms.
We're not allowed to have fun stuff?
This planet is completely anti-fun. And so a couple of unsecured firearms, lots of drugs, pornography, of course. So, I mean, the bill to Deepnight Revelation came to about 12,000 credits, which the captain isn't worried about. They can bill Deepnight for this, and that's not an issue. And this inspection, of course, takes a good 4 or 5 hours. And by the time they're done, your guys' visas have been mailed to you. You have them on your mobile comms and transceivers, and you can leave. So then the question is, are all of you going down to the world, and are you taking public transit, or are you taking one of your own ships?
Actually,
are stunners allowed on this planet?
Oh, fine. I don't think anything's allowed on this planet.
No, we're not going to get it.
I don't think I'm allowed on this planet.
Right.
I'd like the reporter to take us if she would.
Yeah.
If she comes for the interview, maybe perhaps she could take us and we could discuss things.
Yeah, law level 13, all weapons and all armor is banned.
Yeah. So let's follow the rules.
And Bocephus and I are probably banned because I bet psionic abilities are not kosher either.
Yeah, nobody. It's funny because they don't mention it, but I would be willing to bet that they, on the one hand, psionics are going to, of course, be illegal, but on the flip side, the government has secret institutes of psionics.
Yeah,
I mean,
undoubtedly. I think Bocephus' solution of traveling with the reporter is ideal. It gives her an opportunity to interview us while we're traveling in it.
She's covering the case anyway.
It means we don't have to worry about breaking any laws with how we fly our ship down and having it confiscated.
So you got a couple of.
I go get our scout ship and start doing.
So do you guys want to take the scout ship? Or do you want to take something like Deepnight's boat?
Well, no, her ship.
You could take her ship.
Yeah, let her drive us.
I'm just doing the scout ship as a backup. In
Okay.
case things really go to hell, I'm going to go check out the things, get the engines.
We don't want to take our own ship down there. There's
too
many laws that we could break with regard to how we bring our
George
ship
and I are going to come roaring to the rescue if we need to.
It's one thing to have a person confiscated. It's another to have a ship confiscated.
That's true.
We're not going to peacefully give away a ship.
Yeah, so let's try.
I wouldn't plan on being peaceful if I have to come down. That's because you're
let's
locked up.
see how it goes.
Let's travel with the reporter.
Okay,
that's a good idea. That's a great idea.
Interview us on our plane.
Give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
You need your metformin?
I'm wondering how easily I can get this guy to get himself spaced and roll up a lawyer.
You could probably just tell Chris you want to change characters if you wanted to do a new character.
Well, you have an incredibly high intelligence. I mean, if you were to spend 1 point on advocate, you'd have a better role than anybody else in the group.
That's what I'm going to do because that's
okay. You know what I mean. So in terms of re-rolling, that seems ridiculously unnecessary. I mean, hell, if you have a wafer jack and were to slot advocate 2 in that wafer jack, you would have higher.
Come to think of it, I have a wafer jack and I have admin 1, so I had a +3.
No, I'm not talking. Like admin's great for filling out paperwork and getting yourself through security and dealing with law enforcement. When you have to argue, like we're going to a lot of different places that are going to have a lot of weird laws. It would be good to kind of like.
I have both
advocate. Chris gives me experience points in the next 33 minutes. He'll give me 6 experience points. I'll put some into advocate.
I have both advocate 2 and admin 2 as wafer jacks. I just haven't been using them here in these roles, and it's been stupid not to.
You know what? I have a wafer jack too. I can throw one of those in there. You know what? I'm going to pick one up, and I'm going to put some points into this thing.
Okay.
Yeah, because you have an incredibly high intelligence. I don't. I'm rocking like a 6.
You're
all I have is intelligence.
Come on.
So my intelligence is it's 8. I've got an 8 intellect.
See, don't be
but
so
that's
hard.
That's plus 0. I'm just saying it's a +0. So I'm not getting any benefit. I've got +1s on Dex and +1 on education, and that's it. All the other stats are giving me 0s.
So optional augmentations on Sastri are illegal to install. The only time augmentations are legal is, limb loss or in case where somebody's life would be in danger.
Well, that's what I am. I'm a big giant walking augmentation.
Yes. If they're already installed, then you're probably okay. But I wouldn't necessarily.
It's completely. It's experts. He's already got the chip. He just needs the chip.
Right, and they're only tech level 9, so you might want to wait. I'm
going to wait
to try and do any shopping for that kind of thing down here.
Technically, admin 2 is tech level 9.
I'm going to get arrested for shopping.
Yeah. Possibly, yes. In tech level 13 world, possibly.
Hopefully, we can.
You might be issued a citation for not properly standing in line.
Advocate 2 is tech level 11, but admin 2 is tech level 9.
Okay. So the reporter's a little disappointed. She doesn't get to spend more time touring the ship, but she agrees.
Give her a brief tour. Let's bring her to the bridge. Show her.
So, who is going to be on tour duty?
I've got to rock around and shit with. her.
Yeah, okay. and I'll do it too.
Okay, so you guys kind of walk around and you're shooting the minor. Essentially, the overall cover story that this is exclusively a grand exploration mission, that the Imperium has never embarked on anything like this before. That's all. That's a cover story, but that is all true. As well. So it's not like it's a complete bullshit to cover up what you're really doing out there, but because it is the honest truth. But and she of course brings up the fact that that this type of mission has been attempted before, and you've heard some rumors, and the Imperium of course has heard some rumors that the Soleimani attempted two similar missions. But nothing has been heard since, and those missions were launched, maybe 10, 15 years ago. Those missions have never been heard from again, and she thinks it's fascinating. Perhaps maybe you'll catch up to them. Maybe you'll run into them. She's just boggled at the sheer immense duty that you guys have agreed to do. She's in awe of you. And so after this brief tour of what used to be an Imperial warship that has now been turned over into a scientific endeavor, she agrees she will take you down to planet side. Now, when you take off, she's just there. Like I said, they have a slow pinnace. And she has a pilot, a corporate pilot for Sastri 12 News Corporation, probably a subsidiary of Fox. Anyways, you guys,
they're still around.
Yes, and they're multiplanetary. But
the anti-aging drugs. For,
yes.
What's his name? Still kicking.
Megyn Kelly's now the president.
No, I was thinking they're the owner.
Murdoch, around. Yeah.
Yep, Murdoch's still kicking with the
still kicking with the anagathics. Right. As the slow pinnace comes in through the atmosphere, you realize that this world really is it is quite Earth-like. It is a garden world. Large oceans. In fact, there's more ocean here than there is land.
It's beautiful. I'd like to go swimming.
Yeah, it is a pretty world. It is unfortunate what they've done to it, but down here in the southern hemisphere is the downport and Startown, and this pilot brings you guys in, and of course that is where this holding facility is, where Ensign McCabe is currently being held, and so as soon as you land,
give each other another uniform inspection before leaving the ship.
Make sure everybody's shoes are tied, your belt is in the right notch. So on your trip down, are you letting this reporter look over your redacted medical history?
Well, yeah, but it's not really a redacted one, as I made a fresh one.
Oh, you made a whole new one.
Yeah, it was nothing. So it looks like I'm just giving her her entire file. That
is going to require a role.
Okay.
That would require an admin plus intellect or education.
It wouldn't be medic, since he makes these all day for real people.
That's probably true. I would allow for a medic check. In fact, if you wanted to, we could do a task chain. So you could make a medic check, and your effect will give a bonus to whoever wants to make the admin check.
All right, well, I got an 11.
Okay, so whoever wants to make the admin check gets a +3 to their roll.
All right.
I like that. Thank you.
You're going to put the wafer jack in?
Yeah, I'm putting the wafer jack in this time. So,
hold on while I plug in my USB.
Where the hell is? Cancel that.
I could have actually got a 12 if I used either education or intellect as well. That was just medic roll. But it would have been a 12 if I used intellect.
Yeah, so it'd be a 12.
Yeah, it would be a 12. So +4 to your admin check.
+2, right, for task chain.
Well, I'm giving you his effect. So
the full effect. Because that's normally a task chain. It's a different different scale.
No, I'm giving you the full +4.
All right. So education.
+2 from the wafer jack. That's +6.
Yeah, hopefully this rocks.
It's passable.
That you have successfully created not an entirely bullshit medical record, but it makes her look a lot. On the one hand, it makes her look better than she did before, but on the other hand, it makes her look worse. Like, she really needs to be in Bocephus's care in order for her to be a healthy, long-lived individual. And that's basically what this says. And so the reporter is looking this medical profile over, and she's like, "Oh my God, that poor woman."
I know, it's just terrible.
She doesn't belong to be incarcerated. She doesn't even belong in a mental institution. I'm surprised she's even on your ship. She needs to be home. She needs to be surrounded by family and friends.
She's a spacer, so she grew up on an asteroid that was as a miner on an asteroid. So her home is part of the trauma that she's suffering from.
She came from an orphanage, man.
He already explained. Her background was that she was this spacer. So you can describe that lifestyle. I mean, her home growing up was a asteroid mine.
Yeah.
So being on this spaceship is a huge step up, and she has support and company.
Friends, yeah. I mean, she's a wonderful part of our ship. We're so sad that this happened.
People on your planet are very lucky. We have people that live on orbiting asteroids.
Well, they have that here too, and she actually has done some on-site reporting with some of the mining colonies out in the rings, and she says that what she saw out there compared to how people live here. Was the only way that she can describe it was horrific.
Right. So sending her back to somewhere like that could be more damaging than being in the company of these people. She has a job that she does well, and it's part of her recovery.
So so the everybody can make a recon plus intellect check.
Oh, I'm good. Yes, I am.
George is like, finally, something I'm good at.
No, I'm really good at it. 9. I roll even with a base of a 6. I still have an 11.
Nice. Oh, and
it's like
with the box
Sardis' computers.
I get a 7.
I'm in tune to the universe, man.
I got a 2.
So Randolph and Sarda are busy, talking, with the reporter. But Bocephus and George, you look out the window as this slow pinnace is coming in to land, and you notice two things that are very interesting. So this world is very beautiful, and when you pass over initially towards the towards the downport, you notice that the first thing that you see is that the streets are all, evenly regimented. Everything looks clean, spotless. But then some of the cracks in the facade start to show, and George and Bocephus sees that on the outskirts of the Star Town, there's what appears to be like a I don't want to say a tent city, but it is a hovel type situation. A large tract of land outside the Startown border. There's this large area of below low income housing, like poverty level shit.
What is this reporter's name again?
Jennifer.
Jane.
Jennifer. Yeah, I'll be like, well, Jennifer, Jane. What's up with the city of the lower?
She says, I've done so many reports on that. She says they call that Lowtown, and she says Lowtown. So, and you might not think it looking around. I mean, we have so many laws regulating so many things. You would think that life here would be perfect. In fact, there's even she looks. She goes, "Did you know that on Sastri, you don't have to have a job? The government gives everybody a 1,000 credit per week stipend simply for being a citizen. You could sit at home on your ass, and every week you'll get 1,000 credits, or their local currency, and but she says, but there are a couple of issues. So, for one, that's not fulfilling for most people. And she says, so you have to put your, at birth, your name is put into a lottery. And this lottery, hopefully, your name is picked, and then you are sent to a vocational school. And hopefully, if you do well in the vocational school, then you are sent, to higher education. She says, I was lucky, and that is how I got to where I'm at. Most people are not that lucky. And currently, the lottery system is completely backed up in the bureaucracy. And so a lot of these people, they're collecting their 1,000 credits, but because there's nothing to fulfill or enrich their lives, they turn to contraband drugs and occasionally a life of crime. But and obviously, because she says you may have noticed all of the green space on our planet. So we have a very strict ecological regulations on what can and cannot be built, and where it can be built, and how it can be built. And so we have a housing crisis issue, and those people have to end up somewhere, and that is how Lowtown has occurred. And for a lot of those people, it's cheaper for them to pay off the fines for their citations for building in a location where they're not allowed to be building, or to have a building that doesn't meet the code, and to pay those citations rather than attempt to try to live somewhere else on $1,000 a week.
Yeah, I feel you there. Those are pretty big problems.
So the slow pinnace lands, and you guys disembark into the downport. And the downport, it is a Class B starport. It is spotlessly clean. There is, you don't even have to make a recon check. You can look around, and you can see that that security personnel are plentiful and everywhere. They are an ever-present ever-present presence, and you see that they are always moving around in groups of 2. It doesn't seem like they congregate. Occasionally, a group of 2 will meet another group of 2, and they will, exchange notes, or maybe, have a cup of coffee, and then they move on. And it's always a group of 2. There's partners, and they're just everywhere. But aside from that, this is a Class B starport. You've been in many of them, and it's cleaner than most that you've been in. Like, even the walls are spotless. And so she follows you guys, and using your handy dandy legal database app that you have downloaded, you are given GPS directions to the detention facility. And when you get to the detention facility, the lawyer is waiting for you in the waiting room. And so the first thing the lawyer says as soon as you walk in, he sees the reporter, and he's like, "Oh, you guys, wow, you went with the reporter, man. I don't. If we're gonna go public with this, and I guess we already have, that could swing either way." And the reporter, Jennifer, tells your attorney that, she's not here to cause any problems for Miss McCabe. She really thinks that this kind of story needs to get out. The people of Sastri need to know that this kind of situation with the government is not acceptable.
Not at all.
And so the attorney leads you back, and as you get to the security window, and the attorney starts to take out his wallet and his phone and everything, and he turns to you guys and he goes, "You're not armed, are you?"
Well, I have 2 arms.
I've literally brought nothing with me other than the clothing I'm wearing and the chips in my head.
Anybody else?
Nope. I'm upstairs.
What do you mean?
I'm in the Windex. I'm in the scout ship.
Oh,
You
didn't go. Okay.
He's sitting in the scout ship, ready to come down to the planet if we need him to.
Okay, but George, you went down to the planet.
Oh yeah, but I didn't take any weapons with me. I'm not completely stupid.
Okay, so
and Gabe's not with us, so we don't have to worry.
I am a weapon.
Okay, and so he just wants to make sure. So of course, security makes you take off your mobile comms on your wrist, and any transceivers that you're carrying, that all has to be in the bin, and you can.
Mine's built in; it doesn't come off.
Well,
I'm lucky that way.
Yeah, they don't need to know about that. It's a TL9 world. They probably aren't going to scan that deep for augments, but
yeah, you'll have to explain it when you X-ray you probably, but that's about it.
They're gonna X-ray George and be like, "Jesus Christ, what is all that on your skeleton?" And so yeah, you hand in everything out of your pockets, and they give you visitor badges, and you head back, and you get back to the room, the solitary where they are holding her, and the attorney turns to the 3 of you and tells you, "Okay, so she's still a little out of it, so don't be overly shocked, but good to know that her doctor is here, and you can look her over." And so he opens up the door. She's in there, and yeah, she's in solitary, but they've got her in like a straitjacket.
Oh, well, I'll go in and remove the straitjacket and inspect her.
Okay, go ahead and make a medic plus intellect or education check. Okay, so you look her over, and it's clear to you that she is coming down from this drug, whatever was given to her last. She's kind of breaking out in a sweat. Her eyes are partially rolled up in her head, but she does recognize voices, and so she is aware of who you are. And but she's still at the point where she's rambling on and on about, the mushroom monster, and that nobody here is safe, that they haven't done anything to protect this world, And all it takes is one rock.
Oh, good. This world's nuts.
Yeah, let the entity have it. But and she's like, on and on. All it's going to take is one rock, and this whole world will get infected. And oh my God, these poor people. And she actually seems more concerned about the people of Sastri than really most of them seem to deserve.
Maybe so, but we don't need her babbling and fucking everything up. I asked the attorney if we can make a file that she not be present. She's not mentally present to talk or deal with this trial. She needs to sit in this room.
So
I mean, she doesn't need to be talking. She's not in any condition. Look at her.
Is the reporter present for this?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, and the reporter is a bit aghast at her condition.
You might want to explain to the lawyer what this drug does and why it's interacting this way with somebody who has such severe PTSD.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll break down, how the drug that the original doctor gave her, had an adverse reaction and has made her hallucinate. And she's talking about the poor everybody going around with the fungus and all that. I'll talk about these are just her imagination going wild due to the trauma that she's lived through, and really she just needs to go to my medical bay so that way I can get her, I can remove any aspect of this drug from her body so she can stabilize.
Okay.
It also shows how emotive she is in terms of she's concerned that your planet may be at risk of, obviously it's an imaginary attack from whatever has traumatized her in the past, but she's so concerned about your planet's safety that's the driving concern of what she's facing. I mean, this is somebody who is not a threat whatsoever. She's trying to, in her mind, protect your system from the attack that she suffered through herself. It's a horrible situation.
So, whoever wants to, either Sarda or Bocephus, or both of you, needs to make a deception plus intellect or education, but you can make that with a boon, because neither the reporter nor the lawyer know enough about medicine to really contradict what you're saying. They are looking at Bocephus as being the authority on medicine in the room right now, and the two of you together, I mean, you've known her, so
9 + 2 is 11.
Okay.
I'm not trained in it, so I mean I can do a persuade, but I'm not trained in deception. I can roll it, but it's not gonna be good.
Well, roll 3 and take the 2 highest.
Oops, cancel.
Sarda's there looking nervous.
Well, I mean, I have persuade and deception have such overlap that I mean
they do.
And the fact that she's babbling, you can make sense of what she's saying. So
right, that's another reason for the boon. Okay, so between the two of you, you successfully lie to both the attorney and the reporter, and they're basically, the attorney's jaw is hanging open, and the reporter Jennifer actually gets up and goes over and sits next to Ensign McCabe and kind of wraps a blanket around her and puts an arm around her, and she's like, "Oh, you poor thing." And the attorney tells you, he says, "Okay, I am going to go. I'm going to go and get Dr. Borges and bring him back here, and you can explain all this to him, and we can put a stop to her medication and why it's important to get her off of this world and back onto your ship." And so he leaves, and he's gone for about 5 minutes. He comes back with this doctor. He's just the doctor wearing a standard white lab coat. And the doctor comes in, and he kind of clicks his teeth, and he says, "So, which one of you is the doctor?"
That is me.
The dolphin.
Yeah.
And he says, so from what I understand, you are against using a drug that's been used here on Sastri for years that has done more good than to help people with mental issues than any amount of just plain therapy alone. You're going to try to contradict me on that.
Yes, you must not have been aware of her previous medications or anything else where this drug is now having an adverse reaction. It's not that your medicine is flawed, is that you did not have the proper information to act upon it. Surely had you known, and then I will name some chemicals that would act adversely to the chemical breakdown of that stuff. If we're in her system, you wouldn't have used it.
Yeah, you can make a deception. Well, first of all, make a medic plus education check.
There we go.
Oof.
15.
Oof. So now make a deception check at +7.
Let's go. Yeah, it's that that 3 in a million have an adverse effect. Well,
right.
This is one of your 3.
Yeah, because you mixed her ibuprofen with this drug that you gave her. Now she may develop a possibly fatal infection in the perineum.
Yeah. It's all about the taint rash, doctor.
We were my monthly Sunday group. We always joke about that because there's this cancer. I think it's a cancer drug. And it's like, oh, well, stop taking it if you one of the side effects is a possibly fatal infection of the perineum. And we're like, dude, how do you get an infection in your taint so bad that it kills you? Like, what the fuck is that? But yeah, so. So you successfully bullshit this doctor with doctorese, which is no small feat. But you're right. According to the medical document that you show him, that you already doctored up.
Yeah.
It does show that this is, he was right, and he looks at you and he apologizes. We ran blood tests. We didn't know. We didn't find any of these drugs in her system.
Oh, well, a lot of the medications that we use don't actually go through the blood. We do them straight into the bone because we feel that it's better there.
The lymphatic system.
We just use a different system. That's all. You didn't know to test there. There's no shame in that.
It's not that kind of pill. So,
yeah, let's go inject yourself in the marrow.
Right.
Well,
yes.
I mean, I'm trying to present an alternative that would give the doctor an out. I don't want to offend him, just going, you suck, because that'll put him on the defensive. If I give him an easy out that's plausible, he'll want to take it.
I would imagine on this world that when you've arrested a citizen, that one of the very first things you do is you obtain their medical record. And you look at their medical record and you apply your medications to that person given their medical record. Unfortunately, this was an awkward situation between, visitors that did not. And so we just simply weren't able to coordinate, providing a medical record. Had it been almost anyone else on our crew, it would not have been an issue. It's just unfortunately this person that you picked happens to have been the bad combo. And if we'd worked together closer on her arrest, we might have been able to provide the medical record. We'd have realized the difficulties that would have occurred as a result of combining drugs. So it happens. It's unfortunate that it happened.
So Dr. Borges, he signs off something on his screen, and he says, I have to make a call. But I'm hoping that within the next 15 to 20 minutes, we're going to go ahead and get this entire situation taken care of. And he says, so I will be right back. And he leaves. And about 30 minutes later, he comes back in, and there are 2 security personnel with him. and he says the two security personnel go over and they kind of grab Ensign McCabe, and the reporter Jennifer kind of says, "Wait, what are you doing? Where are you taking her?" And the doctor says, "No, you can be calm. I just got off the phone with the judge, and the judge has made a bench ruling that that Ensign McCabe is to be released into your custody, and that all refueling operations for Deepnight Revelation are to recommence. And but the one stipulation is that Deepnight will have to leave the system within 24 hours.
That is a wonderful thing.
That sounds fair. Get us refilled, and we'll get out of here.
Thank you very much.
And so Dr. Borges, shakes flippers with Bocephus, and he says, Doctor, I apologize. Had I known, then none of this would have taken place.
If you would like to come aboard my ship, I can teach you a few things that would maybe progress your medical expertise.
He says,
I could give you some reading material if you'd like. That would really help you.
He says, I would absolutely love to, but I am one doctor with 250 patients down here at the detention facility, and I don't have enough time. There's not enough time as it is. They keep telling me that they're going to hire more people, but here I am by myself.
I hear that's sad. That's sad, Doctor. I tell you though, if you ever have to give somebody a hemorrhoidectomy, rebuild their ass around your thumb. Don't use your small finger, because they've got a shit with a sore ass, and you want them to have a wide tunnel.
So you guys get back out to the security. Your all of your stuff is returned, and Ensign McCabe is probably going to be in her rack for the next couple of days, sleeping this hangover off from this drug, and the reporter is happy to continue to travel with you and take you back up to your ship, and so Randolph, you are radioed, of course, that the crew is coming back to Revelation, and you and Jack are able to redock with Revelation, and as you are docking, you can see that refueling has commenced, and you get her aboard. What are you? So are you taking her directly to sick bay or Bocephus? What are you guys doing with her? Are you taking her to her quarters? What are you doing?
I'm gonna go to this med bay detox.
Okay.
If she's well enough, maybe take her to the brig to show her to show to the guys that have been arrested that she's okay.
Oh,
yeah, but that'll be after a stop by the med bay for
Give her an IV of vitamin B.
Give her IVs, flush her system, hopefully.
Yeah, try to get some of those dope out of her system.
Okay, so 24 hours goes by, and the captain is very well. He commends all of you for how you handled this situation. He says that couldn't have been easy. He puts you in for a commendation, and that is noted in the logs. And the Revelation then sets course the following day. Where am I? Here we are. The following day from Sastri, and for the next, I guess that's probably about 3.5 weeks. You make your way through Rawland and Wahi, and finally, I guess it's longer than 3.5 weeks. Probably about.
Can we jump from Rawland to Wahi?
Yeah.
We have jump
four.
What, 5?
Jump 4.
4.
Okay, it'll make it.
And so, yeah, about 6 weeks, you guys make it through Talmud. You don't have any issues, and you finally make it to Gar. And we will pick up next week. I think I have Gar here. Show you Gar at least. Yeah. This is
We need to make sure we've established protocols for shore leave. Clearly, we don't have any. We need better.
Yeah, so
we need better protocols for shore leave.
So next week we will pick up.
At least it has gas giants.
Yeah, we will pick up with you guys coming into the GAR system after traveling for about 6 weeks. Yeah, so 2 things. So first, between now and next week, you can chat in the Facebook Messenger chat about shore leave policies, the procedures. That's a good idea. And the other thing, you guys bullshitted your way through this so well. I'm going to give each of you 3 XP points.
Fuck yeah!
I mean, you guys really, when it comes push comes to shove, you guys can really pull it out of your ass when it comes to the high level bullshit. You shock me every week.
What can I use an XP point for?
So XP points can be traded for skill points. And that is found on page. Let's see here.
So it's a 1-for-1.
Well, not really, but it's on page.
1 point to get to 0.
Yeah, it's
1
on
point
page.
To go from 0 to 1.
It's on page 39 of the Traveler Companion. The XP points can also be traded for gaining characteristics, but it is prohibitively expensive to increase characteristics. Probably faster to just get an augmentation somewhere if you want to increase it, or buy armor or an exoskeleton or something that'll give it to you.
Physical stats are not that expensive, especially if they're very low.
Right, it's the intellectual.
If you have a really low strength or dex or endurance, it can be pretty cheap to raise them with experience. But it's double for the mental stats, so it's harder for those.
This is a pretty easy decision since I'm going to be gone for a couple of weeks. George decided that he was going to take all that stuff he learned in law enforcement, start reading legal books. I'm going to go from a 0 to a 1.
There you go.
Actually, I'm going from a nothing to a 1 in advocate.
Okay.
And I'm going to take a 0 in admin because learning all those books really taught me how to keep all the paperwork in order.
I'm training deception.
That's a good idea.
And
shit, after that whole thing, I kind of feel like you should get deception for free.
No, I already have deception 1. I never even thought to use it. That's for other things.
And I'm going to raise recon by 1.
And it takes 2 to go from 1 to 2, right?
It takes 2 from 1 to 2. It's 1 to get 0, 1 to get 1, and then 2 to go to 2.
Yep, you are correct.
I slid the scale for my own games. I slid it so that it takes 2 to go from 0 to 1, and so I made things a little more expensive.
But
I give out more. I give out 1 per game session, so I was worried about people having too many.
Yeah, I worry about people having too many, but then at the same time, I also am reminded that there is a built-in cap in that you can't have more skill levels than your intellect plus your education times 3. And also, don't forget, you can't have in my game, I cap skill ranks at 4. So, and the reason, so normally that cap only exists when you are creating characters, but the reality is that it makes sense regardless, because at rank 4, you are technically so good in a skill that people from across the sector are coming to you for advice on whatever that skill is. So, I mean, at skill rank 5, you would have to be a prodigy of some kind.
So I did Persuade 0, Deception 0, and Diplomat 0.
Good plan. Diplomat is an excellent one too, especially considering where you guys are going. You know,
when I have a high social, so it kind of makes sense for me to have some diplomat.
Well, yeah, and you know, Randolph will be the first one to get the green-skinned woman, so
yay!
He's going to be with
she
Diplomat
likes my
one.
Kilt.
He's going.
She wants my kilt.
That's right. He's going to be the Captain Kirk.
No, I'm just in the academy now with the green-skinned cadet.
I picked up psychology to 1,
Excellent.
a 0 and a 1 in that, and an admin I put to 0.
Excellent.
I figured if we're doing all this and we're dealing with a lot of stress and everything, the psychology will allow me to do shit.
That it will.
Yeah, like crew morale and things like that.
I've got 19 skill ranks out of 33, so I'm okay.
Yep, that's got it. So that was fun.
So before we close out, who wants to make an electronics sensors plus education or intellect check?
That's not me.
I'll do that. Electronic sensors. And is that including ship bonuses or no?
It does not include. So yeah, you can add another +2 for ship bonuses. Gotcha. And at the same time, who wants to make a electronics comms plus intellect or education?
I've got comms 1 and an intellect will give me. I'll get +2 plus whatever the ship gives.
Okay.
15 for sensors.
Okay. Excellent. So the communications that Bocephus is monitoring on the bridge. So Gar, evidently, from the communications that you are monitoring, the communications tech from this world seems to be spotty, low tech, actually basic radio type signals, like ham radio is about the strongest that you're picking up. But from what you can understand is that the ruling faction of this world is a religious group, and they have some very strange customs. So the first thing is that they mostly eschew technology. The population is ruled by the Church of the Jeremiah Revelationist Congregation. And they eschew technology. The other thing that you pick up is that all of the communications that you are picking up seem to be one word and, if possible, one syllable. And after listening to this for a while, you realize that part of the Jeremiah Revelationist Congregation's belief is not 2 words when one is clear, or as they put it, 1 word, 1 sound. So they have a very clipped speech, and they eschew most technology. But Sarda, your scan of the main world, you are picking up something, and you are picking it up in this polar ice cap right here.
Got pirate radio going on.
Yeah, essentially it's like pirate radio. You are picking up a technological signal coming from right here, and it seems to be not of this world. It is xenobiological.
Okay.
It's
Flame rifle time.
So we will get to your decisions on what to do about that when you get to Gar next week.
Sounds fun.
All right, now we can be burned as heretics rather than arrested for.
Yeah,
this would be fun.
Right, exactly.
Well, I mean, we can. I mean,
see, we're switching things up.
Yeah, we can also. I mean, just go make our own little place to get off the ship and stretch our bones, and I mean, we don't necessarily have to go to the cities.
Yeah,
there are islands.
There is a Class D starport, like right here. So it's not far from, well, I mean, relatively not far. If you figure 24 miles per hexo, you know.
Is there a high port or no?
There is not.
Okay. So we're gonna have to refuel by gas.
Does this downport have fuel, or do we need to make our own?
Giants.
There are gas giants for Revelation to refuel from. And which one is? So Gar is actually a moon of the third planet in, well, fourth planet in, at 1.3 AU, and but Gar for the most part is yet again another garden world. There's a lot of garden worlds out here that you're not used to seeing this many garden worlds.
Yeah, this is beautiful. We need to do hardcore scans and maybe take some animal samples.
We need DNA samples.
Oh, fuck yeah. Different kinds of species, because I definitely want to start cooking some shit up while we're doing all this.
These guys came into town. Reverend, these guys came into town and just started jerking off the townsfolk.
Well, I think we can come up with a better way to get stuff than that. We just, lop off a nut and take it with us.
we gotta hit the other one with the hammer first.
Well, yeah, it's inventing golf. They'll help. All the guys will have a golf club when they get erect.
We definitely want to check out that alien station.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
Okay. We will pick this up next week at 7:00 for Deepnight Revelation on Friday night.
All right, thanks. That was pretty fun. I'll see you tomorrow.
You're welcome. Have a good one, guys. Run some good games at the con, George.
Oh yeah. No, I've got Traveler going at the con. We're doing my version of Death Station. It's going to be horrible, gory, and disgusting.
Nice.
Rated R. Definitely rated R.
Nice. Well, we run a PG or G level game here.
Oh yeah, 100%.
The YouTube algorithm's going to love Wes's contributions tonight.
Oh, I'm sure, right?
I'm sure.
I will see you guys next week.
All right, see you guys. All right, see you guys.